responding to feedback manually, well, here's an automation that can turn it into a 24/7 win for your brand, making sure that every customer feels heard instantly. And we're going to go through how you can actually use some of the low-code tools such as make.com to be able to automate this straight away versus having to use other ones or rely on some of the integrations that are out there. And we're going to compare it to one of the client examples that we had come to us. So as we can see here, we've got a really quick demo that was able to walk through how it's able to get the feedback form from Airtable in this case. Again, we're not showing the exact client version, but this is how that we were able to automate it in a similar way. We've got the feedback analysis. We're able to then pass that, really analyze the output, update the mood. So how does it feel? Start to categorize it, identify if there's a phone number, format it so we can send a text message, email. This would be great for maybe your campaigns that you've got running as well, for any marketing that goes through in the future. We would then be able to send some emails, some text messages, all around providing a response to their feedback and ensuring if it was a great response, we can get back to them straight away. But again, there's a variation of this where maybe if it was a negative response, we hand it off to a person so that they can deal with it straight away. Again, this was a really simple solution. The customer that came to us had this version in here, and they were using Zero Code Kit and a few others, and they had so many different variations of how they were trying to go through and do it and update some of the data that was going through. It made it so complex for the team that were trying to run it. So the version that we've got here is much less steps. So let's go through it step by step so you can see how it works. So in this case, we've got an e-form that's coming through. So again, you can replace this with Typeform or any other the e-form platforms out there. What it's being able to do is, watch for that response. It will come into the actual process and that will trigger it. Again, we can have this run instantly. We can have it run every minute, 10 minutes. As you can see here, there's different intervals, so we can get it to run as often as need be. Again, in this scenario, you'd probably want it to run every minute, so that you're providing a response back almost instantaneously to that customer that's reached out. The next part is we're going to be analyzing the feedback that comes through. So in this case here, we're going to be using almost natural language processing to identify sort of the tonality of the actual example that's come through. So as you can see here, if we go through some of the prompt that's being incorporated, we've got a really clear goal for what it's trying to do, categorize the feedback. We're then looking for, is it a positive feedback? Is it negative feedback? Neutral, constructive, ambiguous? Again, what's the categorization of that? You can include as many as you wanted to. Again, noting the way that this is going to work is the bigger the prompt that's sent off, the more expensive that cost is going to be. Remembering that around 100 tokens is around 75 words. So the more words you use, the more expensive that prompt's going to be. We're going to be looking for a score. So again, it should be up to 1. In this case, it's going to be decimal points. Again, that's quite similar to your NPS, so your Net Promoter Score, or the way that works. We're looking for a JSON output. So again, what we're looking for, if we come down here, is here's an example input for some of the feedback. And then we're going to output it. So we've got what was the overall mood? What's the breakdown between the different categories that we've mentioned? Positive, negative, neutral, constructive, ambiguous. We're then going to break down by sentence. So we're able to see, is there a certain sentence that maybe repeats? Again, this is really great for being able to analyze all of the feedback that you get into a help desk. This is where you can analyze all of the data and really provide great insights to your team, whether it's sales, marketing on some of the pain points you have, the product team for maybe where they need to make some enhancements. There's so many different ways that you can analyze it and provide actionable insights back to the business. Again, we gave some examples around what positive feedback feels like, what negative feedback feels like, neutral, constructive, and ambiguous. What we see is having between 5 and 20 examples in some of these prompts provide really great outputs. Anything after that sometimes is a bit more diminishing returns, i.e. you don't get any better. Anything below 5, we find that it can improve it, but we find that sort of 5 onwards provides a really great output. We're trying to explain the outputs as well. So overall sentiment score, what is it? Mood score, what is it? Again, what the mood sentence is, just to help it try and identify it. And then we're doing the second part of the prompt, which is actually feeding those comments in. So as you can see on the right hand side here, if we click on that, the left-hand side, the first module starts pulsing. So we know it's getting the information from that specific form that's coming into the business. What we're then doing is starting to pass that output. So if I provide an example, let's do run this module only. What we'll be able to do is actually put some comments in there. So let's do that. And then we'll be able to see the output that comes through, and we need to pass through that. So as you can see here, this is the long string that's come back. So we can see that the overall mood is constructive. We've got 10% is positive, 15% is negative, 20% is neutral, and around 55% is constructive feedback. We've got the different sentences that are involved in this, so we can see where maybe it's more neutral, where maybe the constructive feedback's actually been provided, and then we can go through and update that a bit later on, which is what we'll show you. We also need to pass this information so we can use it. So again, if I provide the output that we got from the last module, so come in here and we'll copy this, we can paste this in this run module only, and we'll be able to see that actually it provides it into a much better usable bundle on the outside. So as you can see here, it's usable. The bundle has overall feedback as constructive, the different points here, and then we've got an array. So again, a list of all of the different sentences and their corresponding moods, which hopefully we can see a bit later on here. We're going to start to update. The next one here is we're just updating some of the data fields. So in this case, we've got one that would be able to update the mood that's been identified. So if we come into here, we can come down to where it's got mood, as you can see here where we've got mood. So it's actually going to be ingesting the outputs from that parsing. We're going to see that it's going to be able to do the overall mood. We're then going to store the positive, the negative, the neutral. We can add sort of the constructive, the ambiguous, as you can see in there. So it's nice and dynamic. It'll always get the latest information in there so that we can use it nice and easily. We'll do OK. So again, that doesn't have to be Airtable. We used Airtable for this demo just as an example. It gives you a great idea of how dynamically you can update the data that you're working with. We can set the writing tone. So again, we're going to go through and do an actual writing of maybe an email back to that customer. If we've identified that it's positive, maybe we want to be a bit of humor with that response or make it a bit funny. If it's negative feedback, again, maybe we want to be professional and respond back straight away. Or actually, in this case, you could do a deviation. And the minute the negative feedback is identified, we'll actually triage that to maybe a human, and they'll provide a response versus the AI responding. So again, depends on the use case that you're working through. All you would need to do that is you could come back to here. You could do add router, add another router, and then we would put a filter in here. We could call it negative feedback. The condition, all we would need to do is do overall mood, and then we would do text contains case insensitive. And then all you would be able to do after that is provide a different variation. Maybe you could send it off through email, or you could do Slack, or you could do Teams, again, Microsoft Teams, or even ServiceNow. And you could notify the team that you've got working in your area, in your company, to actually go through and deal with that maybe more sensitive and that more negative feedback that you've got coming through. Let's get rid of that. We'll just connect it up so we can run through the rest of the modules and show you how it's worked. So we've got the option here, the first split. Is the phone number, does it exist or does it not exist? In the form, for example, maybe you've got the customer phone, email, country code. Maybe that's optional. Maybe they don't have to provide it. Again, we don't want to force the customer into providing details maybe they're comfortable with. What we're really focused on is that data around the service, how it's performing, how we can improve it for the future. So that's where in our automation, we're going to see, okay, does this phone number exist? So for example, here, that phone number is from module 1. So as you can see, if I click on that, far left-hand side is going to start pulsing. So what it's doing is it's checking for the data in the database to see if that specific feedback has a phone number associated with it. If it doesn't, we'll go down the bottom here and we'll do a different way. What we can also see here is around actually passing the information from the phone number. So we can actually provide it in examples. So if I run this module, we could input this demo phone number. So this maybe is a UK phone number. We could do OK. And then the output that we're looking to get from this is actually, okay, what's the phone number itself? What's the country code, formatting phone number, and the country itself? And this is really great because when we go and send the text a bit later on, we're able to do that. But also maybe you want some variations in here. So if it's an international phone number, maybe you send it through WhatsApp. If it's a domestic phone number, you're more than happy for it to be an SMS message that gets sent out. And that's where the parsing of the phone number just comes in. So it's nice and easy to use a specific part that gets outputted. Now we're going to start to do the actual email back to the customer themselves. So again, does the email address exist? Does it not exist? Again, if we come in here and we zoom out to the left-hand side, what we'll see is that feedback form on the left start pulsing, because we know that that's going to be where that email is captured. Again, if you're using something else, Typeform, or you're going through your database, you would be able to do the exact same thing. If we move through a bit further, so again, we're going to be sending an email. So to personalize the email, again, we've got a 2-stage prompt in here. We've got a priming prompt, and then we've actually got the information that we want to send to the customer. And we've made this quite dynamic. So in the first part, we're giving it a really clear goal. So we're saying that it needs to craft a friendly, empathetic, helpful response back to the customer, acknowledging any issues, providing feedback, insights, all of the sort of stuff. The tone in here is kind of bog standard, but you can change that for the future. We've given it some really clear instructions around how it's going to go through the process and improve the output that it's providing. We've given it, again, 5 examples: input, output, example 2, input, output. Again, example 3, input, output. We've got example 4, we've got input, output. We've then got example 5, again, input and output here as well. We've then just got summarizing some of the key points at the end here. Again, that's quite similar to when we're working with voice AI and we put critical information, because what we find is working with some of the LLMs, they're really great at understanding the first part of the prompt and the end of the prompt, but they get a little bit fuzzy in the middle, and that's called missing the needle in the haystack. Again, lots of different AI start to massively improve in that area. So I think we're going to see lots of other companies start to improve their scores in here. The second part is we're going to be feeding it a specific data. So we're going to provide the feedback data, again, from all the way back at the start, from the form, that first comment that was provided, so what the customer said. We're going to say the service that it's associated with. So again, maybe they've bought a phone, or they've made a purchase in a different department, or they've actually gone through and done a course, or again, what we can do is tailor the responses back to specific services. And that's where your prompting starts to come in a bit more as well. What we can also say is, again, the tone of the feedback provided. So what we're doing, if you can see the purple one here, is going to start pulsing. So we're going to identify what the mood of the feedback was. In this case, we've got constructive coming through. So again, what we need to do is tell it how to respond and how to actually go back to it. So we've said, again, if it's positive, we're going to take one route. If it's negative, we're going to take another route. Neutral, we're going to do something else. And all other feedback, so again, that ambiguous or constructive, we're just going to go back with a professional response. Now, as you can see here, we've got these 3 variables of positive, negative, and neutral feedback in the writing tone, and that's coming from this module here. So again, we're making it dynamic that all the team would need to do is update in here. If they want it humorous for positive, or maybe sad for negative, anything like that, you can update in here, and it makes it nice and easy. Moving across, we're then going to send a personalized text to that customer as well. So again, it's able to ingest the information in a 2-stage prompt. We've got the priming prompt at the start, which will highlight what its task is, how it needs to respond, the tone, again, example inputs and outputs. Again, we've got 5 different ones here, so you can see how it's going through. But the second part of this prompt is actually revising the email that we've just sent. So as you can see here, if I zoom in, we're using the output from, in this case, module 13, the GPT OpenAI output. But again, you could use Gemini or Claude or Grok or DeepSeek, whichever one you wanted to do exactly the same process. And then we're asking it to only provide a concise output, don't include any additional details or text, because what we're doing is using Twilio to send that text message out straight away afterwards, so that the customer can actually see that we've responded both over email and text. Again, you can really choose, for example, in the email, if you actually wanted to come from a specific email address, maybe you've got a customer email address, you can change the subject, you can make that dynamic if you wanted to. There's so much personalization that you can do with this. And again, it makes every customer feel heard, so that their feedback is being incorporated and they feel more reassured, and they're building that trust better with your organization. We're also going to go through an update, in this case, if we've actually been able to send all this information. So if there's any issues, what will happen is this will say yes or no. So again, we can see, okay, that comment was responded to, this one wasn't. And at the end here, we're going to be iterating through the array that we had right at the start around the actual mood of each part. So if I just run this again for you, what we'll be able to see is the input and the output. So again, let's copy this. As we can see here, for example, 10% positive, 15% negative, 10% neutral, 65% actually constructive in this case. And then we're able to update that into our data set. So for example, here, again, this is Airtable. It's just an example of how you could do it. What you'll be able to do is go through and update all of these fields. So when you're doing your reporting, you can see, okay, was I more positive in January? Was I negative in January? How's it improving over time? Does it relate to specific services maybe that I offer? Do I need to improve certain solutions that we're actually providing to the market? Is there a new product or solution that actually we could develop and deploy into the market as well? So lots of different ways that you can analyze it, because you've got so much data available to you. If we move on to the next tab, we've also got the mood breakdown. So as you can see here, what we'll be able to do is see each line, how it performs. And this is really key, because when you're starting to train the AI models, what you want to be able to do is provide really good examples of what's good feedback, negative feedback, constructive, if they're happy or sad, because the more examples you're able to provide it, the better it's going to be performing and actually identifying what that mood is. If you're not providing it as many examples, it's going to really try and guess what it thinks is positive, negative, constructive, and everything else in that space. And that's how it would go through and complete it if a phone did exist. If a phone doesn't exist, we're going to do the exact same thing in a really simple couple of step process here. All we're going to be doing is sending the email without the text, and we're going to be adding all of these details into Airtable. So no matter if the customer shares their contact details, we've got all of this information so we can use it in the future and make these improvements. This was a really quick demo to show how you could turn your customer feedback into 24/7. There's so many different variations that you could do with this. There's also the way that maybe you want to include some images in this that you send out to people. Maybe you want to do a newsletter blast of all of the information out to the customer service teams. There's so many different ways that you can improve the way that we've got the example here and tailor it to the business that you're working with day to day. All of the resources in the link below if you want to get access to it. And it shows how actually you don't need to be reliant on some of the tools that are out there like Zero Code Kit or trying to make something work just because you've paid for it. We can actually use some of the more simple ways of working and just optimize the process and use the automation over the top of that optimized process versus trying to force something that maybe doesn't go in the way that it's currently working. But the key thing here is that we're providing 24/7 automatic responses back to customers versus you having to do it yourself, enabling you to have more time to work on the business versus in the business day to day, doing the maybe more mundane, more repetitive tasks, answering the same questions. This can handle it for you so you can focus on other aspects and growing the business. I hope this was useful. Check out the resources in the link below and have a great day.